So it's leaking and it's driving Honeybee crazy. So usually when it's leaking, that's not the problem. This is the problem. The faucet is the problem. So I've already taken off the cover piece, which is the thing that turns the water on. This is the screw that holds on the cover piece and the cover that goes over the screw. So we just have to pull that out. The first thing you need to do here is to remove the flange or the cover plate, I guess you could say. Then the bonnet needs to come off. And then that whole thing has to be pulled out. So here we've taken off the cover piece with the 2 screws. It's easy. And then this shows the inside of it. The screws attached to 2 threaded holes that are a part of the device. And then the main thing is don't forget to put something over the drain so you don't lose all of your screws and stuff. That's what that washcloth is for. Okay, now so we're going to turn the water off to drain it. I went downstairs and I turned off the water so it's completely drained now at this point, and just let some more air out. I open up the sink. You don't need to do this. So I'm taking off the bonnet here. I believe that's what that's called, threaded collar. Put that to the side, and then you have to take off this decorative sleeve, and then you need to pull out what's called the cartridge. So I'm trying to do this without damaging it at all. You don't want to be rough with this. So I think it's best just to use not a lot of force at all. The overall idea is to pull this thing out straight without damaging the part or denting the brass since it's soft. If it doesn't come out easily, you could actually reinstall the plastic cover piece that actually controls the whole mechanism and then pull it straight out. So what I did was I used a small screwdriver and just got it over the lip there a little bit, pulled it out. Inside there you can see the 2 black circles. Those are rubber seals, and this is the cartridge. You can see the O-ring and the wearing on the edge of the cartridge, and this is what it looks like inside again. So this is one of the seals removed with its accompanying spring, and that's what it looks like without any of the springs and seals in there. Okay, this is the cartridge, like I said, and the pain here is I don't see any markings at all that tells us exactly what type of Delta faucet this is. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of research here. Annoying. So here's the spring and washer that I figured out after all the research. Went to Home Depot, and I'm going to try to put this inside now. I'm just using the screwdriver as a holder. You don't really need it. And to make things more difficult, I'm trying to do this one-handed while holding the camera. Anyway, I managed to do it, and there it is. That's how it looks when it goes in there. So now I have 2 new, they're called universal seals in here. Okay, so you can see here the 2 universal seals, and at the bottom is the inlet where the water actually comes into the faucet or the cartridge. So as you spin your control dial, it moves the cartridge, which has these 2 openings, you'll see here in a second, and then they allow the water to get into the shower head. This is pretty amazing. This is the back of the cartridge that those 2 universal seals will slide on. So what's amazing is that I think you can see wearing. See the black, or the darker section that has kind of a rounded edge right there? That's the wearing mark from the seals over the years being turned back and forth, back and forth. It's amazing. So I took some silicone and sealed up around the O-rings, as you might be able to see there. And then also on the back of the cartridge, I put some silicone. And right here on the side, you can see how this thing seats in, the cartridge seats into the brass fitting. So that's what we did. You just put it in generally snug, put the collar back on, the decorative collar here, and then the bonnet, the threaded bonnet needs to go on. And I like to do this by hand. You don't want to damage this, so I just did it as tightly as I could by hand. So you can get that pretty tight because it seals up with the O-rings and the universal seals. So I went in there, gave it pretty good torque with my hands, and then that seals things. So I went back downstairs and turned the water supply back on, and so now we're going to see if it's going to work. Whoa. Hey now. Here I'm turning the water off, and now we're going to see if it's dripping anymore. But I'm not using the control piece of the faucet because I don't want to put that on until I know it's not dripping. Well, the moment of truth, and as you can see, it's still dripping. Drip, drip. This is in fast motion, but nonetheless, I am not happy. It is still dripping. So at this point, it was dripping about, I think, every 24 seconds or something. Well, back to the drawing board.
An indeterminate amount of time later.
Well, I came up to check on the drip again, and look who's here. Okay, let's see if it's dripping. Well, I see no moisture. Look at that. Dry as a bone.